Solmaz is news editor of Turkey's daily Sabah newspaper. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, plenty of commentators see conflict between President Erdogan and Prime Minister Davutoglu as being behind Mr. Davutoglu's resignation. Would you agree with that?
Well, Prime Minister himself, during his speech today, refuted these claims and said these are all speculations, and said President Erdogan's honor is his honor, and said you will never ever hear a bad word from my mouth about President Erdogan. I think what we should focus on is that the Turkish nation had for the first time chosen a president by a popular vote. Instead of parliament electing a president, Turks went to the ballot boxes and elected Erdogan as president in 2014. And Erdogan opted to use the powers that is given to him by the constitution. However, these powers were not used by the symbolic presidents in the past. So there is a conflict now. The conflict is Erdogan is not chosen by the parliament, but by the people's votes. So this gives him a word to say that, I have been chosen by the people and the constitution has given me these rights. And there can't be two leaders or two heads of states. So what we should do is transform the country into a semi-presidential system like in France or to the one in America, a fully presidential system. And I don't think there had been some rift between Erdogan and Davutoglu. Their approaches to some sort of like diplomatic ties were different. However, this wasn't huge among the AK party voters, even the administration. And when asked, Davutoglu today in his speech said, the reason that why I am stepping down is that I have seen the people in my administration is not fully backing me up. And I have no problems with Erdogan. However, with the party administration not behind me, and if they do not want me, I'm going to be a normal parliamentarian, an MP, and I will continue to serve the party and the country. And he strongly refuted all those claims that there is a rift between him and Erdogan.
Well, as you mentioned, the president certainly is seen as being in the course of moving more power into the presidency, into his own hands, and also becoming increasingly authoritarian. He has clearly been cracking down on dissenters and also on journalists. Is democracy in your country being eroded through all of these changes?
Well, during the prime ministry position of Erdogan, and since he became president about 2 years ago, Turkey has seen a lot of democratic reforms taken in the country. And in terms of for instance, like the jail journalists situation in Turkey, I think we need to look at the things in specific circumstances. For instance, one of the editors that had been jailed for about 3 weeks was accused of espionage. And we have seen similar cases in Germany last week. 5 journalists were tried. And what Erdogan is trying to say is like, these rights are already given me by the constitution and I am using those. And he thinks that the country should adopt a presidential system. And I think Davutoglu stepping aside won't make much difference. And however, it will have an effect on the AK party to speed up all these works to draft a constitution to get rid of this military coup drone in 1980. And it will most probably have a presidential system adopted to as well.
You say President Erdogan thinks that he should be getting more power. Do you think that Turkish people believe that he should be getting more powers as well?
Well, there was a recent research by one of the staunch anti-government research company about 2 days ago. It's called Gezici Research. Familiar with the Gezi Park protests, and they said support for the AK party and Erdogan is around 56%. So even if anti-government circles saying that they have increased their support from 49.5 to 56, that means Turkish people are backing their president.
All right, thanks very much for giving us your point of view. Mehmet Solmaz from Turkey's daily Sabah newspaper joining us there from Istanbul.